paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying, I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a very special episode of Brainstorm Brewery. I'm Corbin Hostler, joined as always by my co-host Jason Alt. Our third member, DJ, is not able to make it this week, so in his place, we have brought to you a very special guest, one writer for Commander's Herald, one Am I the Bolas extraordinaire, one comic who has we've been trading, well, by trading I mean I've been listening to Jason and him trade comic stories for the past 30 minutes. This is great. Mike Carrozza, welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
How you doing?
Thank you. Very excited. I'm stoked. That's how I'm doing. Bring it. I've been wanting to get on Brainstorm Brewery for a while. Been listening for a while. I think I told Jason this, but I don't think I told you. But when I first started listening, I thought you guys cracked cans whenever you swore. Like, instead of actually swearing, you guys were so adamant on
We were just like
censoring. Yeah, you would get close and crack another can. Like, they were so interspersed that you could get away with it. And I was like,
well,
these guys
it's
are really
true.
good.
It made more sense that way when we'd miss every like third curse word too, but no, that was actually just the editor missing the curse words. But we decided it was more fun. We decided it was objectively funnier if you only bleeped out every other curse word or something.
Right. Which is also, like, to be fair to the editor, I curse a lot. I love swearing, so
Yeah. One thing you should know is
happen.
you should never be fair to the editor here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love when clean comics swear off stage. It's very funny to me.
I don't know that I'm a clean comic.
Whatever.
Like, people think of me as a clean comic, but I don't not swear. I swear on stage all the time. I do.
I think clean comics don't talk about. I think that's what it is. I don't think they don't.
Yeah. Well, I don't go blue. Like, that's not my thing.
What does that mean? Wait, what does that mean?
Going blue is like going
talking dirty stuff.
Yeah, dirty
Why?
stuff. I don't know. I don't know the reason for it. It's
The
just, like,
etymology
language that's
for
been handed
the
down.
origin of the
Yeah,
word blue.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But
Fair
like,
enough.
I don't go blue in my comedy. I prefer to, like, hey, volcanoes are stupid, and I like that. I want to touch them. You know, like, that's the fun stuff. And there are comics out there who are like, who do you guys like? And I'm like, yeah.
And those
but
comics
also,
are
like,
named
fucking-
Jason Alt. That's why Jason
I
would
don't
never
ask
let
if they like. I assume most people like.
Now censor all of those so nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yes, exactly, JJ. Well, yeah, we're glad to have you on the show. You've been writing
Thanks, man.
a series for Commander's Herald that is essentially Am I the Asshole, but for magic.
Right? Yeah.
What is that like? Because I think we've all played Magic with quite a few assholes, and sometimes they're us.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'll
they're
say
Corbin. He means.
I'll say that my experience running the column has been like, sometimes I'll get emails from people that I truly cannot use at all, because it either means that there's so little conflict here, or
Yeah.
it's retreading on another subject that I just had recently on the column, or someone is so far gone the asshole, like they're so far gone the Bolas in that situation that I have to be like, do you really want me to put this out there? Like, I have.
Am I
one
the
that's
Bolas
been-
for flipping the table when a guy countered 3 spells in a row?
Jason, that's why none of yours ever make it, buddy. Sorry.
So there's a few of them that I've had to like pull from my time, like from some of my stories, or like from friends of mine who are like, just make it seem like I sent you an email because I'd rather just send it to you by Facebook or something. But I think the one that's been sitting in my mailbox for the longest has been one where I just basically have to be like, dude, you're just misogynist. That's what's
That's not the turn I wanted this to take.
no, but that's the thing. Is
You're
like,
not
you
a
get
Bolas, man. You're a dick, bro.
it's like you're not just the villain in the context of the game. You're a villain in general. Like that's a hard turn to take. Whereas most of the time it's people being like, were they king making or am I just being salty? And the answer is like, hey man, you're playing a 3-player pod. There's no king making. It's all king making.
Yeah.
It's,
All right. Well, I'm gonna toss one out to you. Then that happened to me last week. You can use this for future column if you'd like.
You're the Bolas.
Would love to.
Well, literally, I was the Bolas. I was playing Nicol Bolas, the Ravager.
Nice.
So I was playing a discard deck, right? So by turn 6 or 7, I had wrathed the board once and emptied everybody's hands for the most part, like maybe a card or 2 left for a couple people. However, I had no board. I had no board and I had no cards in hand.
Don't worry, guys. I made the game miserable for 4 people instead of making it miserable for 3. I'm not an asshole.
This is not my question.
Oh boy.
I'm aware that some people don't like that playstyle. My question is not if that playstyle makes me the asshole.
It does.
I don't care if it does. My question is if targeting somebody who is in a bad board state because you're salty about their past actions makes you the Bolas.
I hope not.
Oh, so you're saying like in another game?
Listen, I had done like this game. I had made everyone discard their hands, right? Yeah. I had no board. My stuff had been killed. Like my stuff had been removed. Other people still had stuff. Like one person had like 5 creatures in play that were like big things, right? And one of my opponents like pointed some kind of removal spell at like some fairly irrelevant thing I had. And so and I was like, that doesn't seem right, man. Like, are you playing to like hand him the game? Because I objectively have nothing and he has a huge board. And he was like, well, you made me discard my hand. And I'm like, well, that's a sunk cost, man. Like that done already happened. Now all that's going to happen is I'm going to top deck discard spells that don't do anything. So that's the question.
That's a sunk. I can't wait to get away with all the things I did in my past by being like, that was 2021, Jason. That's a sunk cost, baby.
It's just, are you playing to win the game? Or are you playing to right your salt?
Well, so here's the thing: Magic in a Commander Pod more an emotional game than one would rather admit.
Correct.
Unless we're playing CEDH, where literally, like the way I picture it is a bunch of robots playing because it's like the optimal play patterns, and they got the visor on where they can see all the. Like it seems fun. I just am too slow for it. But like,
not for nothing. This is the same play group, by the way, that absolutely nailed me on a missed trigger that was pretty impactful. So
okay, so they wouldn't.
I want to point out we have some pretty intense vibes there. So it's not like
listen,
the idea is you play to win the game. So anyways, you can use that for the column or not.
So here's the thing. I this is my response, and this is something that I've been cooking up recently because I just remembered this a couple weeks ago. I used to watch Big Brother constantly. Like every summer I would watch from season 2 to like season 23 or whatever of Big Brother.
I watch Survivor.
Big Brother every year.
Why didn't you watch Big Brother season
Survivor.
1?
You hated Survivor.
I could only get into it season 2. I was like a kid at the time, didn't know what it was. Caught on season 2.
You got to rediscover.
Watch
Survivor.
Marcellus win the power of veto for the first ever power of veto and not use it while he was on the block and get voted out like some chump.
Marcellus and Veto, are they magic creatures?
There we go. And we're back. All right, welcome to Brainstorm Brewery. I'm your guest host.
Did you say Brewery?
Brewery. Like
isn't that French for buttered?
What?
Welcome to Brainstorm Buttery.
Oh man, put on a couple pounds. Your bees sound bigger.
You can tell exactly how fat they are by how they pronounce B's and P's.
So this is the point I'm trying to make about this is that Big Brother, there was this contestant named Paul.
And I say it right, Big Brother.
Big Brother. And Big Brother, there was Paul from Big Brother. Paul from Big Brother, I'm trying to find his seasons. He objectively he was in 2 seasons. He had like an all-star season and a regular season. Each time he made it to the final 2, carried the person to the final 2, okay? Did key challenges, put the right people up on the block, and at the end, when the jury had to vote for who played the game best, they handed it to the floater sitting next to him because
that's a strategy.
A key part about Big Brother that people always forget is jury management. You don't want people feeling like they were played. You don't want people feeling like they were hurt by you, because if they have a chance to affect you after, this is real life. They played a game and they were like, this dude objectively beat my ass at every turn. I can choose whether or not to reward him for actually playing the game properly and give him $250,000. But no, I'm going to give it to the loser next to him who hasn't won a thing the entire time. That's Big Brother in this case. Like, I could not believe it. Both seasons, you're watching this guy all the way to the top. And like, I mean, I'm not remembering who he was sitting next to. I think Nicole was one of them one year and she did great. But the first year was Josh, who did nothing but annoy everybody. And point is, jury management. Jury management is an important concept that I want people to apply to Commander.
You did a terrible job managing the jury, Corbin.
I understand.
That's it.
You made the jury discard their hand and wipe the board.
I did not
You
win
got
that
it.
game.
There we go. Because
Here's the thing.
You hit them too much.
In regular
I like my
1v1 60 card Magic, your life total is your resource, right? But in EDH, there's no clock, which means time is your resource. When you wrath the board, you are taking time, the one resource I can never get back, and you're taking it away from me. When you make the game go slower, you are robbing a resource from me I can never get back. The one thing money cannot buy is more time. And on my deathbed, I'm not going to say, I wish I'd spent more time with one creature on the board because someone farewelled me and said, oh, wait, you got 5 enchantments over there? Yeah, let's do enchantments too.
Now, this is a great example of how people play emotionally rather than optimally in the game. Because
is the
Jason
game
started
going
with
to
an
finish
example.
today? What if it finished tomorrow?
You started with an example of an in-game resources and ended in like literally the concept of your time and your lifetime outside of the game. That's the kind of thing that people write in about all the time, and it's like, just keep it in the game. Like,
you
I don't
stole
understand.
25 minutes
Jason.
from me.
Jason, if you were thinking logically, you would realize how lucky all of these people are to get to play a game of Commander with their friends in this time, and anything that lengthens that enjoyable time where we get to be privileged and enjoy that is objectively a good thing.
I brought 3 decks and we played a 4-hour game. I'm upset.
And stay up longer, old man.
Wait, hold on a second.
If I stayed up longer,
game?
my wife would wake up and yell at me. She's like, I have to go to work. Why are you awake?
Wait.
4-hour game? I'm still on that.
I'm not defending
game?
4-hour games here. My group does regularly have like 90-minute games, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of board
sweet
wipes and
spot.
removal in my group. It's not just
Which
board
is
wipes,
fair.
though. It's just removal, too.
90 minutes is fine. How are you finishing a 90-minute game with multiple board wipes?
Because in person it goes faster than spell table. I don't know.
Well, I'll also say that like you were playing the Bolas, the Nicol Bolas that turns into the Planeswalker, right?
Yeah, yes. So that's the deck works by stripping people's hands with its commander included, and then transforms the Bolas into the Planeswalker, and then reanimates other Bolases from the graveyard with it. So like the deck does have an in-game plan, but like it was like somebody had killed my or someone had like turned my Bolas into a bug or something, right? Something I couldn't.
Right.
I got Oko'd. You know, so like my commander was off the game, even though it was on the board. So it's like that kind of stalemate.
I see. Well, I was gonna say like there is a time limit where I will sandbag my board wipes. Just like I was talking to Rachel and Dan from the Commander Sphere, and when Rachel tweeted the board wipes after 90 minutes should gain cycling too.
I saw that. I like that.
And like if you cast this and you don't win at the end of turn, you concede or something. And that was a great. First of all, the fact that people have a lot of people went in like this is what she's actually advocating for. This is a true statement. Now we have to hold her feet to the fire and make sure
Twitter,
you're
man.
gonna do this. Yeah, it's really difficult being
when you're
Twitter
on the
these
CAG,
days.
you can't do a yuck 'em up.
You can't make a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, I also love when Dan sees the reaction to someone tweeting at Rachel on her personal account and then going, I'm going to burn everything down. And from the Commander Sphere, Twitter just tweets something worse. It's great. I love that. They're really fun. They're like punk. They're punk.
He's got
as
that
hell in
wolf,
Magic.
wolf, but not a wolf energy for sure.
Yeah, sick of wolves. I have his book right here. Actually, this is a book.
I think you're
on my desk.
Nice. You're giving DJ ideas from the BSB account.
I'm not saying where my copy of his book is, but I read it on the toilet.
So it must be in your jacket pocket. You're wearing
DJ's
a
like,
jacket
wait a
in the
minute. DJ's thinking at home, all those Twitter eggs he wants to argue with. He's like, now I can use the BSB account. Mike says it's good advertising.
Oh, no. Dan doesn't argue with them. He just tweets a worse take. Just a full on like, hey, board wipes shouldn't have cycling. They should have eat the card right now.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
he doesn't tweet it at them. He just like, oh, I, on the other hand, believe that board wipes should just be like a, you should have to throw it at your opponent's face and tell them the mom. Like, that's the kind of that he'll throw out after somebody goes for Rachel.
That's one way to handle it. I like it.
Why that's devastating is it implies that you don't have a good enough relationship with your mother for her to tell you that she fucked someone in your playgroup.
Yeah, really brutal.
I think if my mom banged some people from the LGS, she'd probably tell me about it.
Would you want to know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I would. Because I want to know if I'm walking
mom-
into I fucked your mom and then he's got pictures.
Oh.
Well, that's...
Right?
Now the question is...
I'd rather just roll the dice on that particular occurrence and just settle for not knowing the rest.
If your mom has sex with someone in your playgroup and you target them with everything you got because of this fact and nothing else on their board, are you the Bolas?
They're the Bolas. My mom, she's married.
It takes two to tango, Jason.
What if they're married?
I love getting a smile out of Jason, but not an audible laugh on this because he's like, there he goes. There it
laugh. I'm not. I'll be before I acknowledge another comic said something funny I didn't think of. I'm silent at open mics. I'll give you nothing. If I give you some polite applause, that's like a standing
pillar
L
of
for me.
salt in the background. Yeah.
Jason
gets up there and he's like, "Why the f are you all so quiet?"
I did an open mic last night, and this was the first show I did since December because everything's been locked down.
Yeah.
And I sat and watched the whole thing. I miss comedy so badly that I sat and watched an open mic.
Wow.
It was not good.
Were there lots of funny pandemic jokes?
No, sir. None, thankfully.
Just lots of I had sex with your mom jokes.
Well, one guy got so high and he went on stage and he forgot that he was working on a clean set, and he started his set with like, sometimes I'm like this one time I was talking to this audience and called this one woman up, and then the audience was laughing but the wasn't, and I was like, I'm sorry, and then he was like, oh, I forgot where this goes. I'm working on clean material, and I just lost it.
Wow. All right, buddy. Yeah, that sounds. You've just ruined the entire concept of an open mic.
An open mic is practice, but people treat it like it's a game. And when people in the audience treat it like it's a game, that's a problem. I had a guy chase me out of an open mic and tell me I shouldn't use notes on stage. I was like, I wrote this premise this afternoon. You're gonna have to bear with me.
It's an open mic. You're coming to the cheap comedy show because it's a comedy gym. That's what you're coming for.
You paid $0 to be here, and I'm glad you were there.
I go to Garage League ball hockey games between them at practice, and I say, "Hey, I don't know, man. Left stick isn't working for you. You might want to try a righty."
That sounded really Canadian.
Look, man, I got lost.
I took my toque off and I threw it down on the ice, and I'm like, if the skip tells you to fucking curl 25 degrees, you better brush. I said take out. Wait, you hoser. It can always get more Canadian. I know lots of curling terms, and I shouldn't.
Of course
I look like I shouldn't know curling terms.
I do too, buddy. I watched all of the mixed doubles competition.
We started a club at our university because we realized it was a great way to embezzle money from the university, because they give you a pretty decent budget. Yeah, and they're like, we don't care what you do with this money. So we're like, we're the curling club, and we go out to eat.
That's what your student fees.
They write that off,
by the way.
Yeah.
Good for you.
We're the curling club. We go out to eat, and sometimes we discuss curling.
Well, that's a real thing. Like when I was in college, I was the editor of the newspaper, right? So student fees were paying me to go to the student senate and cover it for the newspaper, where the student senate would allocate tens of thousands of dollars of student fee money to any student organization that came up with a one-page proposal. And it's like,
What?
Four of us want to go to DC for this event. This would be really helpful to our education for X reasons. May we please go, student senate? And they get a student senator to sponsor them. They put it up for a vote. Those student senators get paid to pass it, to give those people money. Those kids get the money to go on their trip. I get paid to put it in the newspaper. Like student fees go to a lot of things.
Yeah, well, they
colleges.
save all that money by not paying student athletes.
Student fees go to many things in college, and I would say that starting a club and petitioning your school for money, at least in the days when Jason and I were in college, and I don't know
what it's like now. Yeah.
But it was. I saw thousands of dollars just be given to people.
Wow.
That I know is just 4 people in a room. Like
I would love to have thousands of dollars just given to people, namely me. I would like thousands of dollars. So if you're listening,
go back to
it
college.
only costs what, $200,000 in loans? Yeah, that's easy.
right? Yeah.
Just give them $125,000 to get 6,000 back.
I went to university
perfect crime.
in Montreal, in Quebec, and because I stayed in Quebec and I'm from Quebec, there was like a break. Like I didn't pay. I have no student debt because I paid so little for semester.
You paid in province tuition.
Oh yeah, I did.
Probably say.
I believe Jason and I are also privileged enough to not have any college debt.
There we go. That's the. Yeah, but yet I'm still overwhelmed. How do people do everything? I don't know. I've been escaping hard into this card game, and I like it quite a bit.
Well, speaking of this card game,
yes.
How about we talk a little Magic, and we talk a little Breaking Bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
I heard you came prepared.
I did.
I came prepared with this beer that was sent to me by a listener who wants to remain anonymous, which is not really the spirit in which the whole thing was devised. I want to shout you out, but in order to shout you out, you're going to have to send me a beer. So send me a beer. Hit me up on Discord, ask for my address, send a beer to me, and I will say your stupid name, and I will pronounce it either correctly or hilariously on the cast.
Or both.
I was sent a Founder's Fruitwood, which is fantastic. Please continue sending me stuff, but don't be afraid. I want to shout out your business or personal store or just your Twitter account. Get some more Twitter followers. I will say your name and whatever you want me to say on this podcast if you just send me a beer. It's that easy.
There we go. Don't be afraid. Be not afeared. Jason will shout you out.
Be not
Mike,
afeared. Send me a beer.
You get to lead us off this week. What do you got here for Breaking Bulk? Let's see how ready to go.
Remember, it's a guessing.
It's a guessing game. It's a guessing game. I have a common from Invasion, green common. Do you want the card type as well?
Eventually, is it Whip Silk?
It's Whip Silk. Yeah, it's Whip Silk.
I don't even know what Whip Silk does.
It goes back in your hand. That's what it does.
Yeah, that's what it does. It's literally every time an Enchantress deck comes about and it has white, we have Flickering Ward. What does Flickering Ward do? It goes to the battlefield, it comes back to hand. Goes to the battlefield, back to the hand. Sure, it's great protection, whatever. That's awesome. But it's the point is to trigger all your Enchantress triggers. And what do we have in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty? We have an Enchantress commander with no white. And so Tatsunari, that toad dude, I don't have the name of the actual card. I should probably look that up.
Toad dude works.
Tatsunari is, everyone knows what you say when you say Tatsunari, because there isn't a Tatsunaro and a Tatsunara yet.
Well, no, there's a Tatsu something else. There was a Tatsumasa, the Dragon Fang. Okay, it's not close enough.
That's a sword?
Yes, an equipment. But, so
well, it turns
Tatsunari
into a dragon.
Yes, it does.
Because all my teeth can turn into me. That's how it works. That's why the Tooth Fairy wants them, to build an army of you.
Honestly,
It's like, I have all these fangs.
I would feel a lot better if I could make more me, because then I would, I don't know, I'd delegate. You know what I'm talking about? I'd have my own little boss. I'd be the boss.
It'd be like
of me.
the movie Multiplicity. Remember Multiplicity, where they made a copy of a copy of a copy, and then he had to work retail? Remember that?
Never seen it.
No, I don't remember that.
Jason, what do you got, buddy?
I can picture the cover though.
Yeah, it was a bunch of Michael Keatons, and then I assume Andy McDowell, because it was the 90s.
It was Andy McDowell, yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, it's Whip Silk, Tatsunari Toad Rider. Green has no trouble making mana. Black has no trouble making mana. You're gonna make big mana. You're gonna find a way to play Whip Silk over and over again, drain the table while Kami's out. And if he's not, you're targeting something else with your Whip Silk to get it on the field and back to your hand, and you'll get a new Kami with Tatsunari out. So you're welcome, everybody. Put this in all your decks. It's gonna be free. It's what is it now? It went from like 30 cents to $3 on mtgstocks.com.
Mm-hmm. MTGstocks.com, the sponsor of this podcast, the generous sponsor of this podcast. MTG Stocks. Head to MTGstocks.com. Get yourself a premium account. They've got premium features that were selected and vetted by the members of this podcast. So that's the kind of features you're looking for. MTG Stocks has it all. They've got graphs. They've got stocks. They've got the other kind of stocks that you put a person in when you wanted to publicly shame them with tomatoes. They've got it all. And you can have it all. Go to MTGstocks.com. Look at the #1 trading card of the week. Say it on a podcast. Congrats, you're Corbin. You're doing it.
Oh, it turns out
MTG
turns out I'm Corbin this week because
We're all Corbin.
I hope
down
you
here.
both have the same pick of the week, so a guy who is on the cast for the first time can have the same pick of the week as a guy who's been doing it for 9 years. That would bring me so much joy. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, since I, totally have mine ready and it's not that, why don't you go ahead, Jason?
Oh, certainly. My card is from Darksteel, and it is very predictably a colorless card. You know what? I will give you that. DJ would say it's a colorless card, but it's not a token. It's an artifact. I can tell you it's an artifact,
Cool,
which narrows it down to 80%
artifact.
of the set. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Darksteel artifact.
Can I say this
we
is
get rarity?
predicated on Zangief?
Do we get rarity or no?
I don't know what's it. We should.
It is a 3 CMC equipment.
What's the rarity?
Uncommon. I feel like I've said that.
No, you
I may
hadn't.
not have.
All right, it's an uncommon 3-mana equipment in Darksteel, huh?
Because of Zangief.
Because
Not
of
a clue.
Zangief.
What does he do again? He
wrestles
tramples over-
bears.
Oh, wait, that's a Street Fighter. He goes...
Yeah.
He does
He's
the
hilarious.
He does the camel clutch. He does the Boston splash. I think?
Yeah, it's like up, down, left, right, BBBA.
On Zangief.
I have no idea, dude.
You're embarrassing yourself, dude.
I'm not old enough to have played Street Fighter.
It's Street Fighter 2. No one has played Street Fighter 1. There are only 2 characters in that game. You're embarrassing yourself.
Okay,
Is
man.
it?
Okay, boomer.
Is it,
I'm not old enough to have played Street Fighter 1.
Old enough to know about it.
Young enough to not care.
Okay. I don't know what this card is.
Is it Thunderstaff? No, it wouldn't be Thunderstaff.
No, because Thunderstaff is
It's-
not an equipment. Despite
Wait a
being
second. Wait a second.
pretty sexy
What is this? I forget the name of it, but it's a lure. It's a lure equipment. It's
Nemesis
it's
Mask.
the one with the horns.
The one with the horns.
Oh, I know this card.
Nemesis Mask is $1. Fish it out of your bulk where it definitely is right now.
Wow. Yeah, going up. Zangief.
Those Street Fighter cards are going to make more commons be expensive than rares. I went through all the decks today. Like I looked at like multiple ways people are building. It looks like it's just going to be open season on your bulk. Don't bulk anything out until the Street Fighter decks are like established on EDH Rec. Until you see what people are actually playing. Because it's just the green whips of viridescent wisps is like a penny and has never been on a buy list. And the Crimson Wisps is $5. So this is the first time anyone has ever had to play the Green Wisps because of Blanca, and it's in bulk. Your LGS probably has 35 of them for a nickel a piece in their bulk. Just go looking for Street Fighter stuff. I wrote about it on mtgprice.com.
Oh, that's right.
So check out my article on MTG Price, which should be unlocked today.
So one of the interesting things about when we talk about bulk and picking bulk and selling bulk is that it's important to remember that even bulk that's gone through, say, a professional or whatever, like the card Nemesis mask, I know I've gone through Darksteel bulk in the past year that's had Nemesis masks in them, and I did not pick them because it has never been on a buy list.
Right.
And that bulk has been sold off to people over the past 6 months or a year. And I sold a bunch of Nemesis masks that are now $1.50. Right? So this should be a reminder, if nothing else, to repick your own bulk.
Yeah. You bulked it
depending on the last
for
time you did it.
0.4 of a cent. And at $1.50, it's worth 600 times that. So you took a real bath.
I think we'll be okay, given that it was, bulk.
$1.50. Yeah.
But we'll be yes.
But you when you use the B word, you like anything from a Nemesis mask to a gay's cradle is bulk in Oklahoma when people sell you bulk. So
that's not wrong.
You still have that cradle?
It was 2 cradles, Jason, and yes.
I hate you so much. You didn't leave it in a Canadian Highlander deck in an airport?
That's not what happened.
It was stolen. I left it, I walked away from it, and I came back later and someone had stolen it.
Have you ever paid $250 for a Library of Alexandria and still had it? Me neither.
Yikes.
Oh, wow. Oh, God. Those times are gone, aren't
Thanks,
they?
Jason, for bringing that one up.
I'm always going to bring it up.
Okay, that's true.
Because you're the funny one. I'm the one that brings up you losing a Canadian Highlander deck.
That's right.
And I'm the one who's just hanging out.
And I'm going to bring up a common from Saviors of Kamigawa you're never going to guess.
Saviors?
Uh-huh. It's the lantern.
Yeah. I want to make sure you know. I know. I want to make sure you know.
Yeah. Because it's...
A common? What?
It's a blue common.
A blue
Blue
is it
common from Saviors.
the advisor, trusted advisor?
No.
Is it the draw 3?
Be more
Ideas
specific.
Unbound?
Ideas
Be
Unbound.
more
Ideas Unbound. I can't be more specific than the name of a card.
All right, that's correct.
It's the one that Obeka decks love.
Yeah, Ideas Unbound is I have a lot of good memories of playing Ideas Unbound in like old school bad modern decks. Like really, really old school Twiddlestorm type decks. You play Ideas Unbound because if you're just going to keep going, it was just a 2-mana draw 3.
Yeah.
It was great. It's one of those cards that's, probably fallen out of favor to a large extent in competitive play these days. But this used to be like a Storm card.
Only 50 cards are relevant in competitive play. That's why I got into EDH in the first place. I was sick of trading with people who would look through 5 trade binders and be like, I like your Snapcasters. Like, I got so sick of trading with competitive play. And when I traded with EDH people, like, holy crap, you have a German Glorious Anthem? I was like, I found my people. And now I play your stupid format. You got me. You proposed a financial incentive, and I was ensnared.
Sheldon Minnery gotcha.
Yep, well, happens.
I think the last time I saw Ideas Unbound in EDH was literally, I think Josh Lee Kwai talked about it on game nights for Obeka or something.
Oh, is that
Seems
why
like
it's
a
worth
Josh
$1,000 now?
Seems like a Josh Lee Kwai card.
Very much, yeah. Well, especially with Obeka canceling out that trigger to discard, it's just 2-mana draw 3, period.
Obeka decks are actually pretty cool. I won't lie. I have a friend who
Oh,
who
so
plays
cool.
one. I think it's neat.
So
It's
cool.
frustrating sometimes, but it's neat.
Yeah.
It's
Very
neat.
cool.
It's fun. It's good times. Is it?
Well, I think it's actually just a cool design, right? It's a novel design, so to speak, in Commander. And they've been doing more and more like that. And I think they'd have, this may be a hot take. I don't know. I think Commander as a format would actually be better and or more fun, in my personal opinion, if there were fewer products. Because some of these really cool, unique things they're doing would actually have time to breathe. Instead, you see them a year later and you're like, shit, I forgot that even existed.
Oh, yeah.
The brewing period is all of 2 weeks, even for Commander.
Yeah.
And then it's on to the next thing. And I don't
And the
think
secret
format's
layers
supposed to
come
work
along
that
in
way.
the interstitial, and we got to worry about
Yeah,
those
no.
now.
Yeah.
Well, then there's also like I love watching the Commander mechanic, but then every now and then we'll be in the Commander's Hero Discord trying to talk about whose article is coming up soon or whatever, and he'll be like, I think I gotta push back a week. I got like 4 videos that I have to finish out of the 27 legendaries that I have to make a video for.
YouTube's a grind.
It's
Hey,
a
guys.
huge grind.
Hey, I'm setting the line at 15 on the number of legendary creatures in Saviors of Kamigawa. Do you want the over or the under? The line's at 15. It was Saviors of Kamigawa. It was 20 years ago.
I'm gonna take the over to go against what I think will be the trend.
I'm gonna go under because I think there were a lot more spells in Saviors.
Fewer than 15. The answer is 29.
Oh, I did it!
Really?
There was a cycle of 5 Kieran.
Yeah.
They're the saviors.
There were there was the
Iname
5
as
channel
one?
creatures. Yeah.
Oh,
So there were 2 cycles. That's 10 right there. Then there were the 5 flip guys. That's 5 more. So 15 just in those 3 cycles.
Oh,
They had a ton of. They had a 2021 amount of legendary creatures in Saviors of Kamigawa. That's why I don't think everybody hated Kamigawa at the time because it was between Darksteel and Ravnica, or Mirrodin block and Ravnica block. So it's like, this
You went from no one wanted to play, and then
but it was
something that
so
everyone
far
liked,
ahead of
and,
its time, and that's why we're going back now because I think everybody finally came around on Kamigawa.
Right.
It was just ahead of its time. 29 legendary creatures.
So many. Was this
That is
also
interesting.
before
That's a good note.
or after? This must have been around the time where they changed the legendary rule to make sure that it's like you can't phantasmal image a thing and then kill their legendary, right? Like that was a long time before, right?
Maybe.
This is 05. The damage still went on the stack when this set came out.
Yeah, not too terribly long after that.
I'm gonna look up the legend rule.
I remember them changing something about I don't remember. The legend rule changed a few times.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
at one point it was like, you would like kill a
Jason
Jason Mind Sculptor with your Jason Mind Sculptor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those were like planeswalker rules, even not like. Yeah,
Well, people were sideboarding Umezawa's Jite just to blow up Umezawa's Jite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not
Oh,
necessarily
okay. So this was
gameplay.
that same time, exactly. So it was like you couldn't have more than one legendary card of the same card in
play,
on
yeah,
the field.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then the Wizards
On either
decided to
side.
fix that problem by just taking all the cards that should be legendary and not making them legendary.
Like the World Tree.
The World Tree.
One of many Valakuts.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some Molten Pinnacles.
Dude, seriously, if every land that isn't legendary that should be was a Valakut, you would have already killed the table with triggers.
I mean, I think Morrow has said that for limited purposes and stuff like that, they really, really don't like to have legendary lands. But
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
they
Whatever,
changed the
man.
rule now.
I get it.
Like, if they have a land and you have it, it's fine.
Well, they can't really. I mean, have you all played Kamigawa Limited, the new set? It is amazing.
It's
and it is
insane.
complicated.
Very.
There are a lot of words.
It
A
is.
lot of work to read the cards.
It is an Alexander Clamilton set for sure.
Yeah. It's so fun. It's
It is
been
fun.
until
1
like
week. Sorry, you're Canadian. You said it's been, and then you paused, and I was like, I gotta get him.
Get out of here.
How
Bare
much of that
naked
song can you
ladies.
do by heart, Jason?
The whole thing, it's my karaoke jam.
Oh. What's your karaoke jam, Corbin?
When It Rains, It Pours by Luke Combs.
Yeah, no one knows what that is.
No
Not
idea.
true.
Who's Luke
Well,
Combs?
He's a country artist. Listen. There are multiple Magic people who will back me up on this, who are like, who did not know what this was until they karaoke'd with me, and then they're like, I don't like country music, but that's a jam.
Oh, there's no way it's a jam.
Jam.
I mean, look, country music can be fantastic, but it's not my bread and butter. I'll tell you. I love Pine Grove. That's the closest I get from voluntarily listening to.
You don't know
something
about
with a
Canadian country? What? You don't know about Canadian country music?
Nope.
Oh,
Shania
I
Twain.
know a lot about. No, man. I know a lot about
Pop
Canadian
country.
music. Dean Brody.
Yes,
Come on, man.
Canada's a country. That's good. Good job, Corey.
There's so much.
I like
Canadian-
how
good
country
Canadian
music
country
used to
music.
be like, this machine stops fascists, and now it's like, I wish women couldn't vote like in the good old days.
I miss when my wife couldn't vote for the president, and now my wife is my Jeep.
That's pretty good. Except they wouldn't drive a Jeep.
They'd have an F-150.
No, it would have to be a
Jeep sounds
pickup.
too close to Japan. I ain't driving no Japanese
Yeah, they'd have an
automobile.
F-150 or an F-250 for sure.
I'm driving a pickup truck assembled in Mexico, not one of them Japanese crapidese vehicles
Like
assembled
three
in
presidents
Tennessee.
three presidents have a place in their home. All right.
Reagan
It's Saint Reagan. Okay, Saint Reagan, Trump,
and
and
Lincoln.
Ford, baby.
Lincoln?
Ford for that F-150.
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
that shit's in the garage.
This
You
is a
gotta
pun the
protect it,
whole time.
baby.
Fuck you, dude.
I kiss my truck because it was born in the USA.
Ooh, truck.
put some
Oh, yeah,
nuts
you're
on
my
it.
truck wife.
I
I
put
want to be
nuts
inside
on
you
it,
and
but
record
it
a
ain't
video.
gay to
Okay, hold
kiss
up. Do you
my
know? You want to
truck.
know a real country song?
What's
It'll
that?
be like everything you guys. This is a real country song. It's like everything you guys are saying, but then it goes, "Oh, truck, yeah."
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, a Canadian country song is just a guy honking his horn for 12 hours.
Oh, God, I can't even think about this stuff.
Truck, yeah.
The lib cucks are running. It seems like we're winning. Look over there. It's Sam McKinnon.
Did you hear that over 1,000 nice? Did you hear that 1,000 people in connection with the convoy were actually in connection with January 6th insurrection? Hey, great job, everybody.
Surprising.
Oh, way to go. We're
Why are
fucked.
they
We're
allowed to
fucked.
travel outside the country?
Sweet.
Excuse me.
Nice.
Oh my God, there are 13 legendary creatures in Neon Dynasty, and there are 29 in Saviors of Kamigawa.
That's actually surprising.
What? No, that
Well,
can't be
because
right.
they're the ones in the EDH set, and then there's the five. No, the Myojin are
back.
counted. Oh, weird. Oh no, there are 13 in the EDH. Well, I went to the wrong set.
There you go.
Oh, there are 32 in Chem. That
Yeah.
makes more sense.
Makes more
Yeah.
sense. So 45 with this.
Well,
set
32
release.
if you count the 5 Myojin.
We have the 5 dragons, the 5 Myojin. We've got the doggy. At the very least, we've got Satsuko, ninja guy, other ninja guy.
We got the Ewan McGregor samurai.
We got
Yeah,
the
there's quite a few. So my favorite part
Boros
of the
Legend
set,
1
though,
and 2.
my favorite part of the set has been that I didn't necessarily realize this looking over the spoiler before, but a lot of the creatures are either enchantment creatures or artifact creatures.
Yep.
And so it almost feels like
You can get farewelled out of the game, and your opponent doesn't have to
Yes,
destroy
Jason.
any of their own creatures.
Yes, Jason.
They can
that,
pick enchantment, and you lose your whole board, and they're like, I have all my dudes.
Jason losing it over Farewell Unlimited.
I don't like that card.
Yeah.
But it feels almost like playing a Modern Horizons set or like a remastered type set, just in the sense of there's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
There is so
And
much.
it's fun.
They
It's
crammed
fun.
5 years worth of exploring the design space into just this set. They're like, we are going to make Tatiova 4 times. And then we are going to, for the first time ever, explore when a creature attacks triggers.
I do think it's pretty wild that there was no, like, I wish we went back to a day where it's like, instead of having 3 set blocks, I would like a 2 set block. I think Kamigawa has a lot to offer, and the way they designed this set feels a little too compact to me, that I would like to see a little bit more of it. Like, I think, like, it is incredible to me that turtle, the Colossal Sky Turtle, I think it's called, is a card. Limited, it's got, like, loops. You've got so much going on for a card. You could have it in a blue-black deck and just use it for the, like, uncounterable bounce a creature effect. Like, the design on this set is insane. There's so much happening. Like, the fact that you've got a card like Born to Drive that's like modal in that way, like good early, good late. You have stuff like Cloudsteel Kirin, which like is weird as hell, you know, but it can still be a decent aggressive threat. You have the what's the life of Umezawa. Like, there's so many cards in this set that like it's just so fun. It's so cool to see this set. This set was like, just a joy
Especially
to
coming
watch.
off like, hey, you can build any kind of deck you want. Zombie tribal, werewolf tribal, vampire tribal. We have every kind of magic deck in this 2-set block.
Exactly.
Hey, you want to build a werewolf deck? You want to add it to all these new wolves to your current werewolf deck? Well, you can't, you idiot. You might as well take that moon mist and shove it up your ass, because we reinvented how day and night works for no reason at all.
Good
We're
luck
Magic the
asking
Gathering.
people what you can play before you can play it every time with your werewolves. Good luck.
Can I please make this make sense?
I'm
I'm
trying
building the
to.
deck, so I'll let
Why?
you know how it goes.
Build
I think it'll be
Zangief.
fun.
If you want to attack people, build Zangief.
I'm trying
It's
to look
actually
at.
going to be legit. gonna
I'm
be
looking
hilarious.
at legends from Innistrad right now, and I'm trying to find them that are standing out. I think Slogurk is. I know, Jason, you love your Slogurk.
Slogurk is the most Magic card. It's
starting
it's
to
so
see
good.
an uptick in Modern. I don't know if you heard, but there's some decks that are playing Slogurk in it. I forget what the interaction
you just
is.
mill yourself a ton.
It's like Teamer is back on the table, man. It's like the Renin 6 gets you your lands, and so does
Yeah.
Slurgurk, and you have ways to like get them back down.
Life
There's
from
a
the
lot.
Loam. So what? It's a Dark
Yes.
Depths deck.
I'm not sure. I remember listening peripherally to Dominaria's Judgment podcast, and they were talking about this deck. Like, they were like Slogurk making an appearance, and I was like, wow, finally.
That's a cool card for modern. I can see ways in
Yeah.
which you'd want to play a card. I was just reading it there.
I'm sitting here looking at the Innistrad commanders still, and I'm looking at Toxrill, Tovolar as the top build ones for
Odric
sure.
though. Odric seems fun.
Odric seems fun. Remember when Grolnak was spoiled and everybody was like, "Oh boy, here come the turdy boy," not turtle, but the froggy man.
The
And I'm
Froggy
like-
Boy. Yeah.
I was just like, sure, this is gonna get boring real quick for everybody. Meanwhile, Adeline.
Oh boy,
is just-
Frog Tribal in a game with 11 frogs, 4 of
I
which
know.
are black. Good luck.
I'm also like, Adeline was just sitting there for way too long, not even getting a second look, and it's just one of the most obscene cards to get printed in this set, frankly, in my opinion.
Olivia is the perfect sneak attack commander.
Oh, agreed. Oh,
Olivia's-
I'm waiting.
I built a sneak attack Olivia deck that like needs a few more cards, so it's not ready for stream yet. But like, it's amazing.
I'm waiting for the Fang border one to go down a little bit longer, before picking one up, because I think that art is just absolutely beautiful, and I do want it for my vampire deck. Which
I wish she still had the boner personally.
The OG art on Olivia.
Yeah.
There, and
Yeah,
I know
that
what
was
you're
cool.
talking
Why not
about.
just give us a little
Come on, man.
just a little throwback to the original. You want to throw back to Innistrad?
That is
I
a
want
throwback,
werewolves.
man. That's
I
such a
want
boomer.
zombies, and I want my female vampires to have a rock hard fucking 12-inch dick.
That is such a throwback, man. That's like a 10-year-old
huge-
meme, man.
excellent.
Do you even know what he's talking about, Mikey?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay. I didn't even know if that one might. I don't even know if anyone even knows what that reference is anymore, Jason.
I mean,
But
it
if
is.
you go look at the original art, you'll know what he's talking about.
Because
Man, double feature was such a friggin' punt, but some of these cards look so good.
Double feature sucks.
It
yeah,
sucks
some of those
so
cards are
much.
starting to go up though.
Double
Yeah,
feature is one
because
of
no
the
one's
products
opening
that
it.
makes me mad.
Oh,
Somebody
I'm so
at
upset
Wizards
at
of the
this.
Coast proposed that, and everybody went along with it. And I haven't
It was a
heard of
cool
anybody
idea.
getting fired.
It was a cool idea, but they did it in the laziest, greediest
Oh,
way
they
possible.
said.
Are
they
you
said it would be
curating? Oh yeah, we're curating
Yeah,
it by putting
yeah.
every card from both
Both of
sets.
it.
That's curation.
And they were like, and in my mind, I was like, oh shit, this is Innistrad. They're gonna make the coolest fucking draft format ever. They put all this work into this extra product they're releasing. It's gonna be the most amazing. And no, man, nobody
just-
at Wizards gets to do anything they're proud of anymore.
I had
Like,
fun.
Gavin
at the-
does, but he can only do a couple things a year.
Three people get to do something they're proud of, and everyone else is like, hey, out an extra product for us that we can lie about in our marketing. Like, that could have been so cool.
It would have been so cool. I do like some of the things that came out of it. Like, I do like the slow lands, the way the border is both colors, like as if it's a legendary creature. I think it's insane that they went gold border for everything. rather than like sharing like Olivia's red and black, rather than having red and black on either side. They just went like yellow and use the original art instead of the Fang art. Like it's I'm confused by so many decisions in this product, but there are some cards, like I ordered a Markov Purifier for my my Clerics deck, and I just really like the look of it in the double feature, and I bet these cards look dope foil. Like the work on it, like holding them in hand, you're like, wow, that's really nice. Like Thirst for Discovery must look incredible when you're holding it in your hand. But what a punt. This whole set, what a like as much as I love the way Cemetery Illuminator looks in the double feature frame, like forget about it. Why would I crack these boosters to get it, and nobody's opening them, and so they're all going to be so expensive?
Well, there's a point at which the boxes become worth buying.
Yeah, but they started at $250. Like,
So greedy, man.
They start $250 now.
but that's what I'm saying is like they were like, we don't have MSRP anymore, but guess what? $250 double feature. Check them out. They're thick packs. You know you want them. You get one foil. You get two rares. You get every common that you've already opened playing the two sets that were here like 2 months ago. Guess what? Christmas is coming early, but well, late actually. But what a fumble. They just like couldn't close this. It makes no sense to me. It
makes perfect sense to me.
It makes perfect sense to me too if you consider the likely.
It's so easy to do
condition.
something shittily though. Like even if you've done other things well. Yeah.
It speaks of a project that no one had ownership of. The things you're complaining about to me are things that happen when a team slaps it together to get rushed out the door to get.
You could have made this product in 15 minutes the way they made it.
Oh, 100%. I also think that it's one of the most, I've already talked about this, one of the most egregious things to me is like, we had the like black and white treatment on Legends and certain cards in the other sets, in the original sets, that have like, let's take Slogurk, for example, right? You have the green and blue border. It's split down the line in the middle. You get like this meshing of them in the middle. You see that, you're like, that's a green and blue card. It looks great because it's already got art made in black and white to be printed in black and white. It looks fantastic. And then you have the OG art that looks fine in black and white, but they go and give it the gold border rather than the consistency of having the Legends, the multicolored Legends have the same border as they would. It's just so baffling. I'm pretty sure you guys probably.
Can we talk about how if a Magic card was printed in 2007 and you type the name of it in a TCG player, that card comes up, and if it was printed in 2020, you type the name of it and it's like pre-release, specials, showcase foil, set foil,
extended,
special treatment,
art card,
double feature foil. Secret rare Japanese artist art. Secret rare Japanese artist art foil. Secret rare Japanese artist art foil printed in Japan and is therefore worth more. I don't know if people on the cast know this. This is something for our listeners. The cards from Strixhaven and stuff, all the Japanese stuff. The stuff that was printed in Japan, the foils are a little nicer. The stock's nicer. They don't curl as much.
Yes.
People can't tell the difference just by looking at a Japanese, the Japanese demonic tutor printed in America and the Japanese demonic tutor printed in Japan, and the one that was in America, not $1,000 the way the Japanese one is. So there's actually a huge noticeable difference in the print quality, and that's just a thing. And that's why Haruruya has so many listings for every card, is because like we don't want the Japanese collector, the American collector booster ones. We want the really good looking, deep, rich foil. And if you're willing to pay over $100 for a demonic tutor, you're willing to get the best. So,
right.
That's a thing, and that's a thing people know about, and you should know about it. Thank you for listening to our ostensibly MTG Finance podcast.
Well, yeah. I'd say it's unfortunate you even have to know that, because everyone should have good foils, but that's not necessarily the case. All right, well, I think we've done enough complaining here. Let's talk about something positive.
Did we get super toxic?
I don't think so. I honestly think these are all super valid complaints.
How do we get a babyface clean comic on this cast and go negative for an hour? Hey, everybody, I love hanging out. I love my friends. And Kamigawa in its mouth.
We call it like we
I
see
love
it, man. That's
Kamigawa.
all. And now we got to look. We'll go into some positive territory here. Yeah. Cards on the rise. Pick of the week.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I'll start us off. I've got a fun one here that has recently bottomed out and has started to climb again. So it's at, I think, probably the lowest you're going to see it in a long time here. $2.50 for Robber of the Rich from Throne of Eldraine. It's just a 2/2. It's a 2/2 haste reacher. It's weird for this card to have reach, but I guess it makes sense if this is the Robin Hood card.
Because he's reaching into your purse to get your money and give it to the poor.
Anyways, when Robber of the Reach attacks, if defending player has more cards than you, exile the top
card. It has reach because they have reaches.
Robber of the Reach. When it attacks, exile the top card defending player's library if they have more cards than you. Any turn you attacked with a rogue, you may cast that card. So this is a human archer rogue. So as a red rogue, it probably faces,
an archer. That's why it has reach.
That's why it's got reach.
Jason.
I will say that I think, now this is just speculation, like New Capenna coming up. It's got Ob Nixilis in a pinstripe suit and mobster stuff happening. What are the chances?
You can't wait for this set, right, Mike?
Don't even get me started. I can't wait. I think now this is me speculating. I want a new identity for Jund, so I have a feeling that rogues might be involved. So Robber of the Rich having the rogue type line and rogue text saying if you attack with a rogue and a player has more cards than you, I think personally, I was already thinking of that about New Capenna. So here we are, Corbin. You're just making me feel like I might just pick up a couple.
Well, there you go. It's a mythic.
Yeah,
from a very broken Magic set.
Yeah, real busted. I mean,
why did they go so hard on fairy tales?
Yeah.
They're like, it's Cinderella. It's Cinderella. She's on her way to the ball. And she has double strike and haste. What? She's a 5/5 for 3. Why? Cinderella.
When Cinderella beats face, she pictures her stepsisters. That's why she's got double strike.
She's going to break a glass slipper off in your...
You hear glass shattering. It's not Stone Cold's intro. It's Cinderella's slipper on her way to kick your ass.
All right, Jason, we're gonna let you in the cast and style with your pick. So Jason, why don't you go ahead and go next?
My pick is predicated, just like my break in bulk was predicated on Zangief. My pick of the week is predicated on Blanca. Blanca is going to be a cast spells that target Blanca and Blanca everybody. You're going to sit in the corner and you're going to spam A, and they're going to walk over like, hey, how's it going? And then you're just going to shock them real good. Bergi, God of Storytelling.
Hell yeah.
When you cast a Crimson Wisps, you get a red mana to cast another thing that targets Blanca. You can chain a lot of 1-mana cantrips together in a Blanca deck and just hit the whole board. I'm super into it. I like Livewire Lash also, but I think Bergi is at its low, especially the showcase version. I like the showcase version a lot.
Oh, I prefer the
Bergi's like $5. It's never going to get cheaper, and it's a broken Magic card. I don't think you ever want to flip it into Harnfell, but like
card is broken.
Yeah, Bergi's messed up. So buy the showcase version. I think those are better, but also you really can't go wrong. And nobody's buying or cracking Kaldheim anymore because it's been 4 months, which means there have been 11 sets.
Yeah. So what's interesting is I do want to point out that this is sort of the meme that a few years ago when they first introduced secret layers or crossovers we were making fun of about how one day you'll just be talking about DBZ characters, and here you are just like a Blanca deck wants Livewire Lash. Like, we're there. We're there.
I don't.
But we're there.
Oh, I'm mad about it. Yeah, of course I'm mad about it.
I'm not. To be honest.
I'm mad about the fact that the solution to the availability is the list, which is the furthest thing from a solution for anything. The list, as I mentioned before, about other things, can
You have
nothing more disappointing than cracking a set booster.
Your nuts are different sizes, and one of them's the fat one.
That's right. So there's nothing more disappointing.
Go to your doctor.
No. He says it's normal. He says you got a fat one and a
convinced
little one.
that is a symptom.
Point is,
They're nuts. It's the good kind of
suck
fat.
it. They can suck it. The list can suck it. Okay,
Fucking
I hate
suck
that.
it.
I hate the list. I don't think it's such a feel bad to open a card that sucks so bad when you know that there's other stuff on there, and it already only happens every other like 4 or 5 packs, and you have to get a dud. What do you have to get a dud for? Who's that for? What do I need that?
Richard Garfield invented a
Limited.
set called Alpha, and in it there were 5 cards at rare called Pure Lace, Death Lace, Life Lace, Chaos Lace, and the blue one. And those were at
Nice.
rare, and you could open that, or you could open a Time Walk, and that was Alpha. He wanted that kind of chaotic energy, and he got it. So Magic as Richard Garfield intended had way more stinkers than your occasional like, no, I opened a $1 rare in my pack. Boo. Richard Garfield wanted you to cry when you opened a pack. He wanted you to have a sealed deck and your opponent to have a sealed deck. And he would be like, well, mine has a Juggernaut in it. And you're like, I have Timberwolves as my rare. And then you lose. So that's amazing. And we should get back to that. We should have more cards. And not cards like one with nothing that become relevant later. I want pure dog. Let's do it.
I gotta say, man, Jason kind of destroyed your argument with that very eloquent rebuttal.
Magic as Richard Garfield intended is always going to be the be-all end-all argument. But if you can make it serve your narrative, you win.
I still can't agree. I don't care. Like, it sucks to open. I feel like dog whenever I open a pack and I see the little Planeswalker symbol and I'm like, okay, all right, what could this possibly be? And I try to live in that moment for a little while, knowing, oh, is it a top? Oh, is it a demonic tutor? Oh, is it a blood crypt? Or hell, I'll even take a Stitcher supplier, which is also on the list. No, what's this? It's a training drone from Mirrodin Besieged, I think. And it does what? It does. Oh, okay. There's a reason we haven't heard of this card in so long. It's that the idea of the set booster is that you're having fun cracking packs. That's like literally the whole point of the thing. So what are they doing? Putting past sets draft chaff in a slot that's supposed to be a big lotto fun time. What the are you doing?
Because every list card
chaff?
can't be a mana vault. You can't win your draft because you got a list card.
Well, you're not
There's gotta
drafting
be
with
some
set
chaos.
boosters.
Set boosters, bro.
Set boosters. These are boosters that people. They're like, hey, we hear
They don't
people
put them in
are
draft.
buying.
I thought they put them.
No. It's just set boosters. Set booster packs. Draft boosters are like, so people are buying draft boosters just to crack them. Okay, well, here's a product with less cards, and there's a bit of a theme to it, and sometimes you can open more rares in the theme in different frames. Okay, cool. And then there's the list, and guess what? The list, super cool, only happens here. There is no reason to include anything garbage, and yet they put trash. Anyway, my pick of the week is a card that has not bottomed out yet. It's not going to for a little while. I'm picking it now knowing that I'm not going to be on the cast again for a while, or I don't know.
Or ever, based on tonight.
I just want to tell you guys to keep your eye on this card, and it feels like an obvious pick, but at the rate that Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is being ripped open, this card is going to come down. Your Ruthless Technomancer is a busted card. Only legal in Commander and Legacy and Vintage. You can play that thing all the time with Dockside. I hope catching a ban. This card ends up being like a new version of something you can break at the table that makes too much mana. I have play tested it in I think 6 of my black decks since I heard of the card. And every time you think you're not going to have enough artifacts to make the reanimation part matter, but you'll always have something to sacrifice to it, and you'll always be making more than enough mana to cover the expense. It's so worth it.
Yeah, so everybody watching it at youtube.com/BSB can see the card. But for anyone else, because I didn't know this one either, Ruthless Technomancer is a 4-mana 2/4. When it enters the battlefield, you may sack another creature. If you do, create a number of treasure tokens equal to its power.
Boom.
And then for 3 mana, you can sacrifice X artifacts, return target creature card with power X from your graveyard to the battlefield. X can't be 0.
So it's your graveyard.
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on. You get an amazing Reanimator card if you have enough artifacts. There's so much treasure token production. There's so much artifact token production anyway. You can make use of that. And then also, it's a human wizard. If you're one of the few people who is still playing in an Ala deck, good job. Have some fun with it. If you play a Jarina Kudro deck where you've got plenty of anthems, play this guy. Boom. Pop a token that's got +6/+0, and you're making 7 treasures. And you can reanimate another human. I think this card is a home run in terms of it's not the most busted card, but it has the potential to be. And that's why I keep buying them at the lowest point that I can find them. I think that this card is going to go up, up, up. This is another Grim Hireling.
I think you're right. This card is very powerful. And I'm seeing it right now for around $2, $2 to $2.50. So that is a pretty decent buy-in price. I think, that's a cheap price for something.
So
that could
cheap
be the
right
next
now.
Grim Hireling.
Yeah. Grim
Which means
Hireling's
I'll order
at,
a bunch of them. My
now?
order got canceled.
I was looking
Hireling,
at the
baby.
extended arts. You can get the regular ones for even cheaper.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
Wow. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Mikey, for coming on. Remind people, where can they find you across the internet?
I'm very easy to find if you know how to spell my name. At Mike Carrozza, MikeCarrozza. On Twitter and Instagram. I have a comedy album out called Cherubic. You can check that out. It's on Blonde Medicine. Wherever you get your music or whatever, you can listen to me on a Just for Laughs stand-up comedy compilation album called Doula, Midwife, Full Wife. I've got 3 tracks on that as well. And I have a podcast about the Bachelor franchise called We Didn't Get a Rose. So if you like The Bachelor and you want to hear me scream about anybody else, I will be doing that for a lot more. And if you want to chat with me about
still
magic,
doing the
or
Bummer
stand-up-
Boys podcast?
Bummer Boys had to stop because it was too depressing.
What a bummer that Bummer Boys was a bummer for you boys.
There we go. Yeah, we did not think it through. It was a podcast where we talked about songs that made us sad that week, so we'd have to deliberately try to listen to songs that made us sad. And it just got too much in these days.
Especially if you're not listening to country music.
Truck, yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on, and thank you everybody for listening. We will see you next week here on Brainstorm Brewery.